you ever heard of Martin Luther? Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King Jr., that's a little bit later on in American history. Martin Luther, he did something a little bit wacky. He started reading the book of Romans. And as he read the book of Romans, he came to Christ. And he started looking at the church. He said, wait, the church looks more like Rome than it looks like Romans, this Bible book that I'm here reading. So he began reading this book. He began to debate with people about what were called indulgences. You would pay indulgences to then get your relatives or to get you out of purgatory and into heaven is what it would be. Lots of big cathedrals in Europe have been built on indulgences. And so he began to debate that and said, no, salvation is in Jesus Christ. It's not in the money that you're paying. It's in what Christ paid for you. So Martin Luther begins to talk about these things and declare these things. He does something absolutely nutty as well. He begins to preach the book of Matthew verse by verse. And they begin to sing hymns. They would take the bar songs from the bars of Germany and they would put Christian lyrics to it and then they would sing that in the church. So here's what it would look like. A mighty fortress is our God. Take your beer stein. Hey, a bulwark unfailing. Hey, and it would go up like that. That's what it would be. And then we would kind of baptize them and bring them into the church. And then now we're like, those are the holiest songs ever. Now they're beer songs, but with great words is what they are. But we've kind of forgot all that. And they are great, wonderful songs. But that's what was happening. So he began to do that. He did something that was just unheard of too. He got married. Whoa, wait a minute. You can't do that as a minister. What are you talking about? Praise the Lord, he did that. I'm sure glad because I got Kelly and some great kids. So that's an awesome thing to be able to do as well. Well, he is protesting. And what he's going to do, he's going to nail 95 theses, 95 different lines of things that he saw wrong in the church. He's going to nail it to the door of a church in Wittenberg. He's going to protest. Watch. So those that are with him that protest are going to become called the Protestants. You may have said Protestants. The reason that you're called a Protestant, if that's what you claim, and in this our church, that's what you would be, is you are a Protestant. You protested the corruption that was taking place in the church, of the church and the state, and the church and the state, and the church and the state, and all of those sort of things that were happening. And he protested with it, and then a couple of guys, two key men, they become believers. Their names are Conrad Grabel and Felix Manz. They start studying their Bibles, and they see something that nobody was seeing it that day. They saw a separation between church and state. They had this crazy thought. You can be a member of the state and not a member of the church. Now, we don't have any problem with that, right? You could be an American and not be a Christian. Well, in that day, Rome and the church had become so together, they couldn't fathom that, one and the same. So they saw this and they started talking about this. And then as they went in their Bible, they looked further in their Bible and they saw that there's no infant baptism here. And so they said, well, we're not going to baptize our infants. And so they all got together in a barn trying to decide if they were going to do that or not. So people came along and said, you've got some time, you better baptize them. If you don't baptize them, you're in super, super big trouble. And they said, no, we're not. We're not going to baptize them. Fast forward, there's a lot of history I could tell you. But Felix Manz, one of these guys, they said, fine, if you like baptism so much, then we're going to drown you. They tie his hands behind his back and they drowned him in an icy river. As he sings, into your hands, Lord, I commit my spirit. And they called these people the Anabaptist, the again baptizers. And as they experienced persecution in Europe, then they finally said, we're getting all this persecution about baptism after salvation. Let's go to the new world called America. And that group of people became called what are called the Baptists. Have you ever heard of Baptist? Probably so. The again baptizers. And the persecution came. But what happened was God used a remnant. In the church of Sardis, he said, but there'll be some of you that won't compromise. You won't give in to the worldly philosophies. And you'll walk in the whiteness of the garments of Jesus Christ. Hey, thanks for watching. To find out more about Houston's First, you can subscribe to our channel or you can go to houstonsfirst.org.